Welcome to the SCP Foundation Files. Today's SCP is the Teenage Succubus. SCP-166. Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures are as follows. SCP-166 can be kept safely in a minimal security environment. As of date redacted, SCP-166 is housed in a standard Class B suite at Site-17 with the following alterations. The adjacent suite has been redesigned into a local observation post. Translucent acrylic panels have been placed in the approach to the corridor, and a staging area to prevent direct line of sight into the containment suite from the exterior hallway. Warning signs have been placed throughout the containment area indicating that no male personnel are permitted in this area. Reasonable requests for personal items and modifications to the containment suite may be granted upon approval by a Level 4 or higher authority. To date, SCP-166 has requested the following: a copy of the Holy Bible, Douay Rheims Colonna Revision. This has been granted. A Catholic Rosary. This has also been granted. Access to a Catholic priest for confession, mass, or other sacraments. This has been denied due to potential risks. Various books and magazines, mostly religious in nature, granted pending review or approval of the contents. A telephone with which to contact the abbess of the, redacted for security reasons, Convent in Cornwall. Granted. SCP-166 is to be allowed 1 hour of telephone time per week to this telephone number only. SCP-166 is generally content to remain in her quarters as long as she is provided with the entertainment in the forms of religious materials, books, and television. She also requires art supplies in return for her cooperation whilst she is in containment. SCP-166 is to be allowed a 12-hour excursion away from Site-17 to an adjacent uninhabited island, no more than once per month. Limited Release Protocol 19-A is to be observed with these cases, with the added restriction that no male personnel are to be allowed within 500 meters of SCP-166 during transport, and no male personnel are to be allowed on the island during her stay there. As even the lightest of clothing tends to cause pressure ulcers/bed sores, within 45 minutes of consistent wear, SCP is allowed to go nude for medical purposes. Garments and bed linens are to be made of long staple cotton and should be changed weekly. All male staff are forbidden from viewing or entering the direct vicinity of SCP-166. Violation of this order will result in immediate disciplinary review and possible termination. At least one female staff member must remain in the adjacent observation room at all times and maintain direct visual observation of SCP-166 through visual slits or closed-circuit television. In order to minimize the risk of accidental exposure, all cameras and windows shall be equipped with translucent filters with at least 50% exclusion of detail. No permanent record shall be kept of any photographic evidence of SCP-166's appearance. SCP-166 requires no sustenance save approximately 1 cc of human semen, administered orally on a weekly basis. Arrangements have been made with a local sperm bank for this purpose. On-site procurement will be carried out in emergencies only. Despite the fact that SCP-166 requires no other sustenance, the subject can consume normal human food and does do so on a regular basis. Due to SCP-166's many health issues, medical evaluations should be carried out at least once per week by female staff only. Description of SCP-166. SCP-166 appears to be a female human in her late teens. She is of average height and of slender build. Medical and psychological analysis indicates several deviations from the baseline human norms, including accelerated hair growth approximately 20 centimeters per month, vulnerability to airborne particulate matter such as cigarette smoke, aerosols. These can induce symptoms similar to that of acute asthma attacks, increased sensitivity to pressure ulcers, and alterations in dietary requirements. SCP-166 is known to have her unusual effect upon human males. Upon establishing physical contact with SCP-166, 100% of human males tested attempted immediate sexual contact with her, regardless of their normal sexual orientation. In approximately 70% of these test subjects, the impulse faded after being removed from SCP-166's presence. In the remaining 30% of these cases, however, the desire turned into an obsession, resulting in violent attempts to gain access to SCP-166. Class A amnestics were effectuous in only 43% of these cases. The remaining personnel affected by this situation required termination. SCP-166's effect on males causes her no small amount of distress, not at least due to her desire to follow an monastic life based on the principles of chastity, poverty, and obedience. For this reason and others, contact between her and any human male is strictly prohibited. The following addendum is a circumstance of retrieval. Addendum 166-A. Circumstances of retrieval of SCP-166. SCP-166 was originally retrieved from a convent in Cornwall, England on redacted date. According to the nuns there, she had originally been delivered to the convent by a person of indistinguishable features, who claimed that she was an offering of an elder creature of great power. Provided instructions for her care, all attempts to locate the mother have been unsuccessful to date. SCP-166 was raised by the nuns in a cloistered environment until a young man, Subject A, who sneaked into the convent to visit one of the novices, accidentally caught sight of her. 3 days later, Subject A became violent and attacked the convent, attempting to gain access to SCP-166. Subject A proceeded to kill one nun and severely injure 3 others before being neutralized by force. A Foundation operative consulting with a local priest regarding an unrelated matter heard of the incident, proceeded to the scene. When he too became enamored, the operative immediately cut off contact, placed himself into confinement, and requested a female operative from the command centers to take over the retrieval operation. Agent Beatrice Maddox made contact with the Mother Abbess shortly afterwards, negotiating the transfer of SCP-166 to Foundation facilities for containment and research. Addendum 166-E. Text of a letter, origin is unknown. Placed in SCP-166's suite on date classified. Dear Redact, I met your mother when she was a girl. She had hooves for feet, starlight in her eyes, and was a beauty and nature, and I killed her with my own 2 hands. Eden isn't a place. It's a state of being. They wanted to take us back to it. I stopped them. I took paradise away from us for a second time. I never regretted my decisions on that day, except one, that when you first met me on that day, you saw your father put a bullet into the head of your mother. I make no excuses, only an explanation. I hope you understand why I did what I did. I hope you can forgive me. I love you. I wish I could have done more for you. The best I could do was leave you in the hands of kind and loving people, and hope they would raise you in my place. From what I've seen, they did well. I'm sorry you couldn't stay with them. I'm sorry they've brought you to this place. I promise to do my best to make sure your stay here is pleasant. I promise to keep you safe. Happy 16th birthday, honey. Your father. Name and title redacted. A truly sad tale for a young girl, possibly even doomed to live out the rest of her days trapped within an SCP Foundation facility. I hope they truly make her feel comfortable, for her sake and for her father's. Thank you very much for attending this briefing. Thank you.